time is an objective measurement, but a subjective metric, because what a difference a year can make. In some situations, it's hard to believe that 2 or 3 years have gone by. Simple in Navi. It seems like yesterday he was in Liquid, but last year, Heroic had Blamef and Freiburg. Both those players have departed, and it was this event where I really took notice of Blamef and thought, man, oh man, this guy's going to have such a great future with this lineup. He's now gone over to North America, joined the likes of Complexity, and Heroic plays against Virtus.pro, who was Avangar, who were the dark horse at every event, but then made a major final. So, yeah, as I say, completely subjective is the timeline of Counter-Strike.
Yeah, I guess that summed it up pretty well. You know, a bit chaotic right there. We see the group on your screens right here. Mousesports, they're going to take on Mad Lions later on today, but the match we're going to focus on is going to be the one between Virtus.pro and Heroic. You're not wrong about that, though. Two teams that right now, I'd even argue that Heroic are the favorites coming into this one, and that may sound a bit silly considering that only half a year ago we saw Virtus.pro back then being Avangar in a major final. Ever since, though, they've been dropping off a cliff. We saw them in Leipzig just a week ago playing some of the most horrendous Counter-Strike I've ever seen them play. So definitely not in a good spot right now, but this would be the game where they could turn it around.
Yeah, and I think that their team was always, as I said, the dark horse. There was a lot of DreamHack Opens that I covered last year on a different platform, doing sort of behind-the-scenes streams and talking and chatting with viewers. And in a lot of those, we were always mentioning, and the chat was also mentioning, that Avangar could win any of the games and any of those DreamHack Opens, but they always seemed to find a way to lose.
Sure.
It wasn't that they were winning. When they won, they narrowly won, and oftentimes they just found a way to lose. And the reason I bring that up is because when they succeeded at the major, I remember saying going into that event, same thing. They can be the team that can surprise us and make top 16 and then top 8, and they can really upset some of the best teams in the world. So for them to make the major final, I think, was an overachievement, but it wasn't out of the realms of possibility. There was always that chance that if they put it all together, they could have a run like that. The problem with doing that, then, as Ents found out, having removed Alexi B, we touched on that in the last game, is that when you make a major final, you set a lot of precedents and a lot of expectations that people hold you to that standard, even if it's not necessarily a true representation. So now we've come to expect so much from Avangar/Virtus.pro, and they aren't achieving it. Now, I do agree. I think they've fallen off even the form that we saw from them previously, but we've got to get them back to at least that. I thought they were on the right path to breaking through.
I would definitely agree, and especially considering who they're facing in this tournament, the team of Heroic, another team that, as you said, they had Blamef. He decided to leave that roster. They also had Valde in the beginning days. Glaive was even a part of what became Heroic back in the day. So it's a team that has had a lot of great in-game leaders. Now they find themselves with Snappy, another great Danish in-game leader, and this guy on your screen right here, Staven as well. Potentially the biggest talent within Danish Counter-Strike right now, and I think he has a bright future ahead of him, and that is a guy we need to look out for in this game.
You made a very good point about Glaive being on this team originally. Keep in mind that they've had a lot of, you mentioned Staven now, they had Yugi originally as their opper when he was supposed
I used
to be the next
part of that team who became Heroic.
Sure,
you know?
but Glaive may have stayed in Heroic if not for the Cologne where Zonic stepped in for, I believe, a sick Dupree, and Glaive was already standing in on the fact that was it Kerrigan at the time had just left the team?
I believe so. Was it Device PC? I can't remember.
Maybe it was Device that was sick. You're right. Zonic. Anyway, they had Zonic and Glaive both playing in that event. Still managed to get through to the top 8. But that was the tournament where everyone went, wow, this Glaive guy could work in this team. And I think that's when they kind of went, hey, you know, well, that's an option.
Well, we in Denmark always knew that was the case. They just had to take the chance on him. And the rest is history, I guess. The best in-game leader in the world, playing on the best team in the world. It is what it is. The maps, though, as we see on your screens right here, it's going to be Overpass, Vertigo, and then Train as a decider. We don't get to see Inferno being the third map. Interesting pick coming out of VP, picking in Vertigo against Heroic, a map they already have played a lot and they like. Seems to me like a bit of desperation right here. Seems to me like, you know, there was no real punish pick for them to pick. So picking Vertigo against Heroic, that's not really a strong map pick. Already by now, just judging by the video, you know, I'm leaning more and more towards Heroic.
It's a difficult one. Obviously, you see in the background as well, Cadian, who's
hyperactive for whatever reason.
Super hyperactive. In the background, obviously getting ready. He's had a bit of a turn of events the past 12 months as well. It seemed like for a long time that he was sort of to the end of his career. He was doing some casting for a while, as he was back in 2015 as well. Remember, I think was that one of the Katowices in 2014.
Never recover from that, you know. Yeah,
it's true. Yeah, sorry about that.
That's all right.
It's true. Some say that. Well, anyway.
You did that on purpose.
Yeah. Either way, he had time in North and now finds himself into Heroic and has got back into the playing and in-game leading and opping and there's a lot going on in the Heroic lineup. And as I say, in Denmark in general, with the way things tend to shuffle everything underneath of Astralis, that is. But Heroic and Virtus.pro and this map, yeah, I don't know who I lead toward. I should say, if I was looking at strictly on skill, I would say Virtus.pro. But they, as I say, they always find a way to lose.
They always find a way to lose. I'd agree with you. I feel Virtus.pro is a team, you know, especially on a map like Overpass and Vertigo for that matter. I think we're going to have a competitive game here between two teams who are somewhat similar in that sense. I think, you know, we've seen peak Avantgarde, we've seen peak Virtus.pro, what they can do, where they're really feeling it. That was a major finalist, you know, that's not something to be messing with, but we haven't seen that skill level from any of these players in quite some time. James in Leipzig had one of his worst showings ever, and that is one of the most instrumental players for this lineup. So hopefully he's, you know, been hitting the practice server, been hitting the deathmatch ever since, and he's going to come back to a somewhat respectable level. Otherwise, I am afraid that Heroic is going to run away with this one, and I think you made a great point as well, saying that the Danish Counter-Strike scene right now is a little bit iffy outside of Astralis. We have 4 teams right now battling to be the second best Danish team in the world.
Yeah.
You know, 3 of them, Mad Lions, Heroic, and North. None of them is a top 10 contender right now.
And remember, if you go back to before this Astralis era and this domination that we've seen from them, there was a time when Heroic and North were contesting to be the best team in Denmark with them. So, yeah, it's such a different... Everything's different. Astralis is so far ahead, and I think that puts... I think perhaps there's an argument to say that there's pressure on the other two teams.
There shouldn't be, though. They shouldn't worry about Astralis. Astralis, as you said, they're the best in the world. What these teams should focus on is becoming a top team within the world, you know, entering the top 10. And from there on, you can contest with Astralis whenever you're mature enough for that. We'll have to see, though. Heroic, they're going to start out on the CT side on Overpass. Boop. Tried to gain some information on towards middle, didn't see anything, and now he's going to fall back. 4 players are towards the B bomb side, but they're going to rotate quickly up towards A. Seems like Heroic just wanted to counter a potential B rush, and now they're putting on a lot of manpower towards the A bomb side, which seems to be a great idea considering where Virtus.pro are heading right now. Just gaining map control. No action, no damage has been dealt.
Borup waits with the USP. 3 in the A side, 2 on B. The B player is very aggressive, I should note as well, out toward water already. And this rotation back through the connector could be caught off by that. Cadian and Snappy, both staring at the short tunnel now. The problem with that being that their backs are exposed, and the timing is such that those 2 players spotted. Here comes the convoy running through the door. No chance for Snappy. Bit of a setup that perhaps, I don't know, didn't see the light, didn't see through to the end of it, because that was a massive loophole in their positioning, and now it's a rotation required. Borup does at least get the first kill when he gets onto the B site, but bomb down. It's still the man advantage for Virtus.pro. 31 seconds left on that bomb timer, and S-Tag does have a kit, which will give them a bit more time to work with. Borup aggressively taking the ramp back as well. His retake so far has been sufficient. Everyone's outside of the site. They could try and get on this with S-Tag. No smoke to cover off the diffuser, however, so they'd have to be very combative in holding it off. And S-Tag's going to do exactly that to buy space against Jane. Diffuse, still needed. It's down and not with the kit. S-Tag went down too far away. It's down to a one-on-one underneath 10 seconds, and no time to go back and get it.
Such a chaotic round, but it turns out to go in the favor of Virtus.pro. Everyone got a kill in that one. It's what we call a team ace, so I think they're happy for that. You see the odds on your screen right here leading into this game. Heroic are the favorites. Currently sitting at a 1.68 return. It's not too bad, but I think this is a game that is definitely going to be close. You can't really, you know, say one of these teams are the clear-cut favorite. It can easily go both ways. As we also saw here in the pistol round, there should be ground for a good game. Cadian brought up the scout. The rest of the team followed up with Deagles and armor. Cadian not able to connect anything, getting caught off guard in the middle. Seemed like Virtus.pro were well aware there was a possibility. Seems like they're coming into this game well prepared, and that's what I want to see. I just casted them a week ago in Leipzig at the DreamHack Open Tournament, which was the first one of 2020. And they were looking super, super deflated, super lackluster. As I said, James had a poor showing. The entire team of Virtus.pro had a poor showing. Heroic was at that tournament as well. They booked themselves a spot into the semi-final, but lost that one to Big, who ended up winning the entire tournament. So Heroic coming out of that one with skin on their nose, whereas for Virtus.pro, that was a big disappointment, exiting out of the group stage without even winning a single map. They hope they can do better this time around, and by the looks of it, off to a good start, winning the pistol round, getting the first kill on towards Cadian as well. This is a round they should be winning. They're playing it super, super slow, methodically, not getting caught off guard anywhere, and I think that's a good sign. I think that's mature to do. in a position as they're in right now. We'll have to see how that's going to pan out. It looks like they're going to enter this B bomb site where there's only going to be... Actually, there's going to be no one in there. So, I bet you they're winning this one.
Well, it's appropriate that you would bet. GGBet would be very pleased with you.
Yeah. What do you think the odds is for them winning this round?
I'm going to go with 5-4.
Okay.
Because that's the numbers.
Okay.
But then if you consider that the 4 have pistols, I'm gonna go with 1 to... Look, I don't know how odds work. 1 to 12.
Yeah.
I'll just throw something on it. Someone out there does math. You go ahead and let me know.
I promise I won't ask again.
Thank
You did
you.
well, though. You tried.
Thanks, man.
You tried. End of the day, Virtus.pro is going to win this round. It's going to be a 2-0 lead for them. Good thing for Heroic is that they're surviving 4 players. They're bringing this investment into the next round, as well as a chunk of cash. So if they wanted to be real cheeky with it, they could actually buy FAMASs, they could buy MP9s and make this a somewhat, buy round. But I think they should just play conservative. They should save out here, make sure that you have the full investment coming into the next round. And that is exactly what's going to happen. The same exact buy. cadian with a scout, 4 players with a deagle, a little bit of utility and armor. So we're going to see another round transpire like that. Hopefully for Heroic, they can do more damage this time around. Virtus.pro did just fine. They dealt with cadian, played slow, made sure there was nobody on the B bomb side, won the round. Did it without taking any chances. Now find himself in a comfortable position.
Stag unsure which way to look. He's got both entrances to consider, and he considers wrong. Now, Dren will clear all angles all the way to the smoke. The other side covered off by his teammate. B side is theirs for the taking and for the took, as Sanji will slide up with the MP5 even to concern and consider the stairs on a rotation. Bomb planted already, and I think this one's done. Virtus.pro to go 3-0.
That's a nice shot by cadian, at least doing a little bit of damage right here, but as you said, should be no way they can fight their way back into this round. They can save the armor, they can save the investment once again, and also make sure that Virtus.pro don't get the kill bonus. It's not a lot of kills that's been going on in this game so far. Maybe they're trying to steal away a few of the guns, put on some pressure on towards the Virtus.pro economy. I have a question for you, Matt.
Hi.
Do you think the Mr. Cat thing, is that a name sponsor?
Yes.
Okay, so they're sponsoring the individual names of the players.
Mr. Cat Pizza.
Okay. Oh.
Mr. Cat Pizza, meow! Yeah. That's how you have to say it. I've told this story before. There used to be a Mr. Cat, I think it still is a Mr. Cat, across from the studio in Kiev.
Okay.
And when
I've been there, yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I worked my first event there, Flaren was on the talent crew, and he was telling us that when Nip used to go there in days gone by, 2013, 2014, for events, for Starlight events, they would go outside, and they would look across the street and they go, "We got to go to Mr. Cat." And then they made it a tradition that they would say Mr. Cat Pizza, meow, every time. And I was told that I had to say it that way or Flame would be very disappointed in me.
Okay.
So I uphold that tradition.
That's good. Good on you. Good on them. Good on Mr. Cat. I was just curious. I think it's the first time I've seen anyone sponsor the player names themselves.
It's been a while. That was a thing for quite a while in various, smaller tier events, early days of esports. Before it was even really monetary, you'd be proud because this company endorsed you that you'd put their name on it to look more official. But yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen it at like an actual legitimate level.
I'm not gonna lie, I've done that before, even though they didn't sponsor me.
Be interesting to see if that would uphold at a major. Obviously, Virtus.pro will be at the next major in Brazil, but Valve may have other ideas regarding names. As we know, they wouldn't let Deba change his. They might say, we're not so much for endorsement on a name in our event. So all the others seem not to have a ruling on that.
That's true. Guess we'll have to wait and see. This round, though, there's been a lot of action going on, but nothing has really transpired anyway. It's a 4 versus 4. Kickert is down, so is Borup. Damage has been dealt on both sides. Seems like Virtus.pro once again are just slowing down the pace. You can see on the minimap 2 players are moving towards A long, which means they're probably going to end towards the A bomb side as well. But I like the way they're playing right now. They're playing super, super slow. So slow that Heroic has to second guess themselves. They have to do something in order to be proactive. Otherwise, they're just going to sit back and wait for Virtus.pro to hit them. And judging so far in this game, it's been too easy for them. S-Attack gets the refrag on towards Staven. It's a 3 versus 3, and now this A hit is going to come in. There's not going to be anyone to defend it. That's a bit of a problem.
Dren with the bomb to go down on A. His gun being drawn. They saw certainly he was in position, but so too was James. He'll find Snappy. James pretty snappy himself on this map when he gets on the CT side, one of his better, so be aware of that when we get over to the CT side. However, S-Tag gets Sanji. James gone back around, aware of the flank to catch out S-Tag, and that's going to close the round and make it 4-0 for Virtus.pro. Cadian's going to try and survive with an... Okay, he'll swap it up. He'll grab the M4 rather than the Scout. He'll grab the AK rather than the M4.
Yeah, a little bit of upgrading going on for Cadian. That's the best he can get out of this one. Good to see James have some early impact with the AWP. As I said, we saw him play in Leipzig. One of the worst performances he's ever had on a LAN event. Looking much better already now. Great impact with the AWP, making sure to close down this round. Didn't give Heroic any chance of finding the way back into it. And as I said, the way they should be approaching this right now, when Virtus.pro is playing so slow, Heroic needs to be proactive. They need to be disruptive. They need to do something in order to break up the pace of Virtus.pro or force them into playing a different style of Counter-Strike. Otherwise, it's going to be too easy for Virtus.pro just to sit back, move around, and get the trade frags, which they've been doing so effectively so far. And that's when you put James in a position where he loves to be, you know, late rounds, having the AWP scoped in and just waiting for people to run into his crosshair. That's when he's really efficient. So if I'm Heroic right now, I'm going to be spending this time out to figure out a way how I can be aggressive, how I can be disruptive, how I can do something to change up the pace in this game. They are on the CT side, and you said it as well. We watched Overpass once already today. It's a map that offers a lot of possibilities on that CT side for aggression, so better make use of it.
Creativity is key.
Oh. Is it?
I went to art school. That was one of the things they told me. I just said, yes, I'll agree with you. To be fair, at art school, and I, you know, there's lots of good things there. Har memes, arts, yay. The most important lesson was taught on the first day. Ultimately, I could have left the school after that and been satisfied. If you're going to make a mistake in life, make it look intentional. So that's one of the most important things I could say in life.
Yeah.
And especially in art. If you're going to make a mistake, make it look intentional. If it doesn't, it looks tacky and poor. S-Tag. 2. Buster gets him back, but look out, because Snappy's got more opportunity than that. I'm not sure he's aware of how low his second target was. He could have easily taken down Buster to follow up that frag, but Sanji instead has the stairs covered off. He was slow to get in position to deny that possibility from the CTs, but man, oh man, he's turned the round since. 2 kills for him, and the response from B. Bomb dropped intentionally. Buster still sitting with the AWP, starts to probe the A site. And they've got the advantage by 1 on the Virtus.pro side. That was the best chance Heroic had. I still say it could be the best chance. It's not done yet, don't get me wrong. But they need to make sure they start stabilizing these advantages in the early round.
Got way ahead of themselves right there. Snappy, as you said, he did good. Wasn't aware the second guy was so low, but Stavan, for whatever reason, pushed in. Catwalk and got punished straight away by Sanji. That was a little bit of an overextension, and as you said, now they find themselves with just Bro up alive, has to do it all by himself. He's well aware it's going to be towards his A-bomb side. At least one guy, and he's going to take him down now. Question is Sanji going to follow up with that? He is. I don't know why they split up that much. That was a bit weird. Instead of making it a 2 versus 1, it was 2 1 versus 1, and you now see the split screen come in. The bomb has to go down. That's going to be on truck. Bro should be somewhat aware that's going to be where it is. There we go. He finds the kill, and he saves the day for Heroic. You said it. It was the best chance they've had of winning a round. Had to go down to a 1 versus 2 clutch still. Wasn't really pretty, but at least they're on the board now.
Important, and it's the AK that Cadian carried over in the previous round that gets them the final 2 kills.
Yeah, nice detail.
It's another art thing. Pay attention to details.
Okay.
Let's just make this arts and craft with Bob Sadoukist.
Bob Sadoukist.
Sounds more like Bob Saget than Bob Ross, really.
You gonna stream that content? Or?
Yeah, maybe.
I'd watch it.
I got a sick new gaming setup, so.
Okay.
I got 8 monitors in one room. It's brilliant.
I got 2.
Cool. 2's all I really use, to be fair. The other ones are behind me. Usually off unless I'm doing other stuff. That made it sound like I'm doing other stuff. I meant sim racing. And all right, let's just move on.
Okay, let's talk about that stuff later on.
Yeah, let's leave that alone. Walked myself into a corner with that one.
Yeah, it's kind of one of your things, isn't it? It's what you do, Matt.
It's true. And then I pull out my claws and fight my way back out.
Yeah. Waiting to see that happen. Anyway,
No, you're not. Fountain is slowly being taken by the T's, but as we can see it through the X-ray, and Adren needs to be more careful than that. He thought a simple jump check would give him an angle. It didn't give him nearly enough height to check that. It's a tall man, not that tall. S-Tag gets one, and that brings out Cadian to support him and cover off with the AWP. He's playing such an angle so he can watch and see if they've gone long, and he can swing for S-Tag. Now, Molotov goes deep. That's going to force him into a fighting position. There's another man who can fight his way out of a corner, it seems, and exactly what he planned for. Cadian is able to support and find James. This is a great follow-up act to their first win. It could be 4-2 at the end of this round.
Yeah, that was super nice by his attack. He stayed calm even though he was in a position where he was well aware that he was supposed to go down, he was supposed to die. Wasn't supposed to get that second kill, but that's what you get if you have a teammate who's helping you out and you stay calm in a pressured situation. Good on him, and now this is the best opportunity Heroic have had of winning a clean, crisp round. There's no way that they're going to lose this one. It's going to be a save from Kickert and Sanji. Obviously, they have the save master on the team as well. He's probably telling them exactly how to do right now. Just stay alive, boys. Don't take any duels. Hide. And that is exactly what they are doing. Puts on a second round on the board for Heroic, 2 in a row, and getting to survive all 5 players. That's going to build up a bit of a bank, which is exactly what they need as well to build up some momentum. Four to 2 is the scoreline, and we see another round where they can buy up. I think they're going to invest into it, and they are. See, Adrian is a bit low on cash, so is Buster, but should be enough for a decent buy. We get another, I believe it's a tactical timeout here, a pause, and we saw it before. I talked about it in the other pause that what Heroic needed to do was to be disrupted. They needed to be aggressive. That's exactly the response we saw coming out of S-Attack in this round. Going up middle, not allowing Virtus.pro to gain map control as easily as they would have liked to. Now that's probably what Virtus.pro is discussing right now. What is our response to that? Well, something fast, something that's going to throw off Heroic. Could be the answer to that. We'll have to see. Could be a B rush, could be a fast A execute or something along those lines. We'll have to see. But that was my big problem with them, watching them in Leipzig. Every single time you saw a tactical timeout from Virtus.pro, you didn't see a change in the way they played. It was too easy to read for the opponents. And I'm a bit afraid it's going to be the same case here. But maybe, just maybe, they'll learn from that mistake and they are going to be able to adapt into the new one. We see a lot of players moving towards middle, 2 guys towards B as well. It looks like a default round coming out of Virtus.pro. It has been working, to be fair, so no need to panic just yet. But for now, it's going to be another slow-paced default round coming out from the Kazakhstanian squad, I believe it is.
Kazakhstanian indeed. Cadian tries to get shots back through. Smoke goes down on Monster. Minute 12. Still 3 smokes available for the CTs. Sanji. The bomb toward the T stairs, the option of going either direction, and they still leave that option available to them by also having James on that side of the map, Sanji and James. Excuse me, Buster and Sanji. James actually, well, getting found by S-Tag, who snuck between them all. He walked clean out past Fountain. They didn't even spot him. They were so committed to trying to take long. He gets 2 kills. No response. Their weapons are still in their hands toward B, but they've got to be so swift to take this site because they know there's a flank in place. Doesn't even matter. Bomb's already down. Not much they'll be able to do. Flank or otherwise, it's just Adren remaining, and he's the one that was still remaining out toward long, away from all of that action. Great turnaround from Heroic. It was starting to look a little bit desperate. Early doors, obviously, at 4-0. It's not like it was out of the realms of a possibility to see them get back into the game, but it was not compelling until now 3 rounds in a row.
Not only 3 rounds in a row, but 2 rounds in a row, not losing a single member, which instantly is reflected in the money. You can also see the odds. They haven't really changed ever since we started the game. Still Heroic favorites to win it. Whereas for Virtus.pro, it's not bad odds. It's just, you know, indicator of them not being the favorites coming into this map. It is Heroic's map pick, so it makes sense. It's been close, been a big back and forth in the beginning, but finally it seems like Heroic have stabilized, find control, and as I said, Haven't lost a single player the past 2 rounds. Economy is starting to look good. This round starts to look good as well. Snappy gets a kill on towards Sanji. Great grenade played as well. There we go. That's the first kill in a few rounds. Adrian connects with the Deagle. It's just going to be cosmetic. I don't believe he can do anything with it. He's not going to be able to win the round. And there we go. Borup takes him down. And another round for Heroic. That was a fast one. Only losing 1 player. So in 3 rounds, Virtus.pro have managed to get 1 kill. That's not how you win a Counter-Strike game, Matt. I'm sure you know that.
I don't know much about winning Counter-Strike games, actually. Actually, you're right. It is not how to win. I know a lot about how to not win Counter-Strike games.
That's what I thought. Surprised you pick up on it.
I pick up on a few things.
Such as?
How to miss shots with an AK.
Oh. Specialty of yours?
Very. Very much so. Run boost for Stowen to get him across with an AWP. Ooh. Yeah, that's a risky one. I mean, it's fortunate no one's on the other side. They'll think, it's fine. But that's a risky one. Because if there was, you're pretty much dead in the water. You land up, you got to be swift in your reactions, not being pre-aimed as you'd expect to be, and you kind of come to a dead stop. Yeah, that could have been rough.
Could have been real rough. Again, we see no change coming out of Virtus.pro, and I'm starting to sense what I saw in Leipzig as well. They're not adapting to what's going on the map. Staven not able to connect that AWP shot. Unfortunately for him, but Virtus.pro, again, slow-paced round, just taking map control, spending a lot of time, not doing a lot, spending a lot of utility, getting this map control as well. You can see there's only grenades left on towards Sanji, a single smoke on Jame, and that's it. Cadian takes Buster down as well. S-Attack finds a frag towards Adrian, and there we go. Despite spending a minute trying to gain map control, they've gained absolutely nothing, and now they find themselves 2 against 5. And another round seemingly out of control for Virtus.pro right here. Will have to require something big from Sanji on towards this B bomb side if they want to stand a chance of winning it. Spots a guy down in pit, and that's it. Staven connects that one. And that'll be the 4th round now for Heroic, where they're going to survive all 5 players. That's a lie, actually, but out of the 4 last rounds, they only died once. 1 player has gone down in 4 rounds. That's crazy. At what point, if you're Virtus.pro, do you think, all right, maybe this default isn't working?
Yeah, and to the credit of Heroic, it was during the timeout that all this changed. I don't know what was discussed, or if we... I mean, maybe that's not the reason, but it certainly is true that after the timeout, they've won now 5 rounds in a row, and they've been more aggressive and more assertive, so... Could be coincidental, but it could be very much a decision that was, or at least an idea that was floated in that timeout period by Cadian or perhaps the coach. So, with that, the lead changes.
Sure does. We see another eco coming out of Virtus.pro. Jame obviously has the op saved from last round. We know he can do good stuff with it. This time around he tries to be aggressive, spends a smoke to go through that Molotov. For what reason, I'm not sure. He spent it so he could sit back and wait. Not sure I follow that logic. Regardless, Virtus.pro with another slow round. That's fine in an anti-eco like this. You have Deagles, you have an AWP, you gotta let him work. Gotta let James see if he can find something on the map, but as far as I'm concerned, next round I want to see something different from Virtus.pro. We've seen the same every single round. It hasn't been working. Cadian found Jame here. Takes down the AWP. Thank God Buster can pick it up, but again, no opening for Virtus.pro. Heroic in full control. Snappy, he has it all right here. Gets a kill. Bomb down as well towards A-Long. Not able to connect the second one. That's the 2nd kill in 5 rounds. We'll have to see if that's going to be it, but Heroic right now seem to be in full control. Buster gets taken down. So does Adrian. Left to kick it. He has an M4 in hand. And he goes down. So 5 rounds, 2 kills, 6-4 for Heroic as of right now. The money is as good as it gets. You have 4 players with plus 10k. Virtus.pro, they're struggling right now. They're buying up again AWP on towards Jame, SGs, AK-47s. I want to see a change of pace now. I want to see something different coming out of Virtus.pro. Being this one-dimensional, that's not going to win you any games against top teams in Counter-Strike. So change it up now. Let's see some speed. Let's see a different approach. And I'm afraid we're not going to. Looks like another default.
Buster will work his way around in front of the bathrooms again. Meanwhile, flank attempt is completely shut down. The easiest fair game of whack-a-mole ever. Snappy back inside of the site has to be rather passive. They do have the man advantage. No need to get too aggressive and give away a mistake or an opportunity. Meanwhile, Borup, CT side, he's getting very aggressive. 3 on A. It's a confident rotation with 1:04 left. And Borup gets water, which doesn't lock down that side of the map, so he's got to be very careful in the corner. It does give them an advantage on one side of the map, just to follow that up, sorry. And fair enough, Katie and Snappy. The CTs didn't have to get that aggressive, but they're definitely keeping the pedal down at this point.
Yeah, they're feeling confident right now, but again, I'm starting to sound like a broken record. I feel I want to see something different from Virtus.pro. It's been too one-dimensional. It's been the default every round. This time around, they tried to pick up the pace of the default, but it was still the same strat, sort of. Didn't work out either. So, you know, take A control fast. You know, go for fast toilet control. Just go straight up, take the duels, and see if you can win those. At this point, you're just losing every round, doing the same thing over and over again. So, yeah, you may not feel comfortable playing a fast pace on the T side of Overpass, but you gotta try it at the very least. It'll be a bit lackluster feeling you're sitting back with if you didn't even try at any point. This round, of course, is over. Another one for Heroic. That's 7 in a row. And Virtus.pro haven't been able to do anything at all in this game so far. They got 4 rounds to start off with. Ever since, it's been super, super lackluster. I believe the total kill count the past 7 rounds has been 5 or 6, which is ridiculous to think about. Hasn't even been remotely close once for them. That's exactly why I want to see them do something differently. Kickert buying up an SG. Deagles behind that on the rest of the teammates. And this time around, they're sending 2 guys towards this B-bomb site. Kickert, one of them busted the other one. They want to take short control fast. And that's at least an adaptation to the default. But the rest of the team is still spread out, as always. Snappy trying to get some information. Couldn't really spot anyone. Heroic is just sitting back and they're waiting right now. They're allowing themselves to drag out the pace of the game as well. Katie finding another opening, this time towards Adrian. And you can see they just control the entire mid area. They are fully aware that Virtus.pro is going to hit this B-bomb site sometime soon. They can't be anywhere else, which should make the defense so much easier for Heroic.
Borup tries to play on the drainage grate to mask himself in that CT model. That's another thing that the pros have thankfully agreed to, as per the Players Association, and I think unanimity across the board from all pros is not to use the customized models, because there are certainly textures that can be taken advantage of, one of which was outside of the bathrooms on this map, as I saw many times on Reddit clips. A 1-on-5, Buster with absolutely no chance. Heroic unrelenting to find their 8th round in a row. What a turn of events, because I was very convinced to think that Virtus.pro were going to have an easy time after watching the first 4 rounds, but anything but since then.
It's been so dominating from Heroic. Look at the money right now. Borup had 16k, so did Snappy. Katie at 12,750. S-Attack the same. There's money for days. Whereas for Virtus.pro, they've been struggling to find footage. They've been struggling to find kills even. They haven't been able once to get this close. Only one time have they planted the bomb the past 8 rounds. That was defused by Heroics. Otherwise, the time has ran out, or everyone has been dying. Jame, though, getting an opening towards Staven. S-Tech instantly finds a trade frag on Sanji. So despite having an idea, despite being impactful with the AWP, doesn't pan out the way they want to. S-Tech with another one. And again, this, I wouldn't even say it was a default, but whatever the outcome of this round was, it didn't work out for Virtus.pro. Find themselves in another rough position. Kick it down to 17 HP. 3 men up against 4, and Heroic, they're just moving all over the map as they please. They're playing confident. They're well aware that Virtus.pro are not changing up the playstyle. It's been so slow throughout the entire half, and it hasn't worked out at all. It kind of gets me mad, you know. At this level, you shouldn't be that one-dimensional.
And yeah, there's a hurdle that's certainly preventing VP from reaching that consistently impressive status.
Thing is, when you look at the players as well, Sanji, Kickert, Buster, like strong riflers, you'd assume they could play fast Counter-Strike. You'd assume they could, you know, explode into a bomb site and do some damage. For whatever reason, they haven't been unleashed.
Good eyes from Snappy. Better from Jame. Gets him back before the smoke fully presents itself, having been thrown down to cover off jungle and connector. Jame will even rotate around inside of the site to cover off window. All the way back down the ramp he goes. Bomb planted in that time. Leaves Kickert on the platform with the Krieg. 3 players to find, and all of them going to be coming from that smoke from the direct A to B rotation. Traded on 1. Kickert's down. Jame to clutch it 1 on 2. AWP in his hands. Both have kits, STech and Cadian, so they have time to figure this out. 10 seconds, in fact, before they have to be on the defuse, and that smoke's actually going to give Jame a better chance of getting on top of the site. 8 seconds, just has to survive. Okay, he's kept him off it. That tap's not going to work. He's got to be back on it now. It's over. Jame doesn't need to peek this, but he has to check the bomb, and he'll get Cadian down and stay alive smartly in the corner. 4 kills, I believe, he had in that round. He had 4 HP, certainly, at the end of it, but it's finally Virtus.pro back to the winning side of things.
Sure is. Not going to put any pressure on the economy of Heroic, but that's how cruel Counter-Strike can be. The past 8 rounds, it's been all about Heroic. We've been seeing one team dominating the other team, but look at the score right now, 8-5. If Virtus.pro is somehow able to get another round on the board, you'd sit back and think, all right, first half, still competitive. 9-6, we saw it in the game between ENCE and OG as well. That was a competitive first half. 9-6 is not a bad T-side by Virtus.pro, it's more the fashion they're losing in. This time around, it came down to a 1 versus 2 clutch by Jame. He had to pull that off, otherwise they wouldn't have won it, but that's Counter-Strike sometimes for you, but it's not looking likely to happen for Virtus.pro to fight their way back into this game. They need a strong CT side, and they need to find a solution for the last 2 rounds coming up as well. 10-5 half. I'd be leaning even more towards Heroic than I already am. Now a full buy coming in. When I say full buy, there's still 2 Galils. An SMG, and there was an AWP in the hands of Jame. He's been taken down by S-Attack, the secondary AWP for Heroic. Now Buster picked it up though, and he's going to punish Cadian. Showing a bit too much skin right there. And again, Virtus.pro, they're slowing it down. They're not picking up the pace. They really firmly believe in the game plan and in the way they play. And it can only be one of 2 things. Either they don't know, are not able to change it up, they don't know how to play that, they don't feel comfortable doing that, or they simply haven't realized that that's the reason why they're losing, which I find hard to believe, because they're in the game. They must feel the presence of Heroic all over the map.
Kickerts sneaks his way in. Stallin's on the other side of the pillar. Didn't quite get far enough, Kickert, to capitalize when he tried to retreat and reload, but he does catch him on the repeat. And Kickert now has to worry about Borup, who's used the smoke to slide in behind the barrels. He's got the bomb down. He's aware of the other approach. Knows there was a second because it's Buster he killed out toward Monster, not Kickert, and he's aware that he is there as well, so goes hunting for him, but it's over to the Deagle. And that will not suffice. As Kickert has to clutch this back, however. 1 on 3. He's got it down to a 1-on-1. S-Tags on very limited HP, 20 in fact, and Kickert still survives with 91 and 14 seconds still to use in planting the bomb. AWP, mind you, for S-Tag, so HP may not be as much of a factor as Kickert surfs away and considered going for the flank toward Monster, but will hold his nerve and hold his ground on short. There is a kits for S-Tag, which means he's got another 15 seconds to work with. Smoke down, I think he's gonna hold. Smoke was heard and Kickert was quick to react. That's a lovely 4K and 3v1 to win another round for Virtus.pro, but the last 2 have been huge clutches required.
They sure have. They sure have. But look at it. They're winning it. That's the most important thing. And all of a sudden, you look at an 8-6 scoreline. If you haven't watched any of the rounds, if you just tune into this game, you'll think to yourself, all right, we got a very competitive game. We got a close game. Two teams who are playing up for each other. But the fact of the matter is, Heroic have been dominating the CT side. They just haven't been able to convert it enough rounds into the scoreboard for them, right? Losing 4 in a row in the beginning, that hurt them a lot. But they got control over the game and find themselves in a position where they, after all, are going to win the first half regardless. But an 8-7 scoreline would be a bit misleading considering how good they've been playing on this CT side. S-Attack once again finding the opening. There we go, Virtus.pro. They are picking up the pace now, exploding in towards this B bomb side. 2 guys. It's not going to be enough though. The Mag 10 from Sanji is somehow going to get away with 14 HP. I don't know how that was possible, but again, Virtus.pro. You find yourself 15 seconds into the round, you've done nothing. Absolutely nothing. Now Snappy goes down to Buster, overextending himself a bit. And again, the pace has been dragged out. Seemingly they want to walk in towards this B bomb side again though. Seems to be the plan. There's only 2 guys defending it, so could be a good move right here. Stavin hasn't had the best game so far. Borup has been decent on the B bomb side as well, but it's the 2 of those who will have to hold on.
Borup waiting to see if anyone will enter wide. It's Kickert that's actually going to head up the ramp to straight toward the pillar. Stalin, meanwhile, is inside of the pit. And we'll play off that information while also holding short. He wasn't quite fast enough to catch out Kickert. And Borup was so wide he couldn't see that. There's certainly a gap in their vision, so they'll have to adjust that crossfire so that they can cover off that position. You'd expect that Borup, playing that far out, would have been able to spot that without exposing himself to short and still having the same advantage. So adjustment required. 4 on 2, bomb down, and Virtus.pro looking to claw back into the half from what was a 4-0 lead, and then an 8-4 deficit to an 8-7 finish. Streaky game so far.
Sure has, and it feels like Heroic lost control over the CT side the past 3 rounds. As you said, it required 2 clutches for Virtus.pro to come in. Without those 2, it would have been looking differently. James had some impact in the later stages of that first half, but that's the guy we have to look at now, moving Virtus.pro over to the CT side. Without him having a strong presence on this map with the AWP, I still think Heroic are the favorites to win, but if he's somehow starting to turn up, then that could be it. That could be game going the way of Virtus.pro, and let's not forget, this is the map pick of Heroic. They were the guys thinking to themselves, we are stronger on Overpass, we're going to pick this map against you because you suck and we win. That's the mentality.
Yeah, yes.
We saw the odds right there. They changed slightly, still favoring towards Heroic. There's a reason for that. Buster, though, you want to change those odds, getting 3 kills, combining with Sanji for 2 as well, and that was a quick pistol round. I'm sure if we get the updated odds sometime soon, they won't be as favored towards Heroic after that pistol. That was beautiful done by Virtus.pro, and as you said, another 4 rounds in a row for Virtus.pro. It's been a streaky game so far, and just as good as Heroic was looking after that comeback in the first half. Well, it's now 8-8, completely evened up, tied up game. And it's nobody's to win. Kickert going aggressive. That's a great nade, doing a lot of damage towards S-Tech, Snappy, and Kadian. They forced up into this round a Scout on Kadian, Deagles, and the rest of the team. Decent amount of utility. It seems like they want to go for some sort of A execute if they can gain the map control for it, but already now taking a lot of damage. The good thing for them, though, is that Virtus.pro is being spread out right now. There's a single player playing towards A-Long, and then James in toilets by himself, and that's it. There's no backup for that, no trade fact potential right here. If he goes down, that could be it. Gives up his position, though. And there we go. This could be dangerous. This could be very dangerous.
Quick shots from the MP9. Kickert's able to follow up, and James takes the bomb. Takes the bomb, but not for long. It's Stowen that gets the shot back with the Deagle. Still the advantage is Virtus.pro. Borup, meanwhile, is quick to check his corners and back away to help with Stow, and he's got an M4 picked up to work with. So first rounds may have gone to Virtus.pro, giving them both pistols. Second one isn't secure yet. The MP9s have to keep close distance, and they do. Good flash late to the picture, but it's double kill either way. Could have been a bit awkward. They spotted his backside when the door was open.
Yeah, I feel this is another weird game. You know, all of a sudden you see Virtus.pro leading 9-8. I think, you know, 5 minutes ago we could both agree that Heroic, they're gonna win this map. You know, they're the one looking in control, but that's Counter-Strike for you right there. Sometimes it is super momentum based, and unfortunately for Heroic right now, they're not able to step up to the plate and actually get something done. Obviously, we'll have to wait and see with the first buy round coming in the T side. Still a little bit too early to judge whether it's going to be a good or bad T side for them, but looking good for Virtus.pro. Surviving a lot of players, farming some money with these MP9s. They give a kill bonus of 900, so you can see the money already starting to stack up for Virtus.pro. Snobby with a little bit of a response, but that's about it. Not able to get any more kills. Now it's going to be interesting to see, are they going to keep the two MP9s? Are they going to treat the next one as a bonus round, or do they want to force up and just power on? You know, they've had 5 rounds in a row now. Would be a bit risky just to keep the MP9s, but then again, economy. Want to make sure you build up as much money as possible so you can allow yourself to lose 1 or 2 rounds and still buy up. Yep, so they opted to force up. I like that. You see a lot of teams just keeping the MP9s, but this time around Virtus.pro, they're playing into their own strengths. They're giving an AWP in the hands of James as soon as they can, and here we are, first buy round in the game, second half.
Quick slide check toward the picnic. James back toward the flowers, and he's boosted, which gives him the shot to S-Tag. Slide boost might spot that corner. I don't think it would. I think the head would be too low. If he's out wide, you can, but either way, advantage to James on the AWP, and over toward that A side, he is certainly a problem for many teams when he has the AWP out, so have to keep that in mind. He's changed his angle already. That gap in the door frame gives quite a bit of vision, so he's playing the front side of the bathrooms. Kakert's trying to play on the back side of the smoke to support him, and James hoping someone will push through and he'll be able to capitalize. Not only that, he can watch long by looking backwards. James already done it himself, but he's lost his 2 support gunners. In fact, he's gone down as well. Adren's got to sneak in. He goes running because he can hear the bomb. 27 seconds. He finds the player in front bathrooms instead. Leaves Cadian on his own and with low HP. Adren makes no mistake. Buster found the first kill, I should say, but either way, Adren was very quick to act. There's a better look at the inside of the practice rooms. You get a feel for the setup of sort of being divided out, not lined up in 5.
Looks good. Looks like a very comfortable environment. Also had that conversation in the first map. I think the players like to play in such an environment. Somewhat private, I know there's a camera in the head of them, but apart from that, still looking good. James with a strong round right here. Look at that. That's exactly what we know him to do. Finding impact with the AWP. Still hasn't been a strong showing for him so far. It hasn't been consistently every round he's found something, but he's starting to warm up. And as I said, I saw him in Leipzig and there was a poor showing. This looks much better. Now we have another timeout, and I assume this is Heroic coming in with this one. Look at the money on their side right now. It's not looking great at all. They're going to buy up a few pistols, some armor, grenades, but not going to invest into the AK-47s, the SGs and stuff. They can't afford it. It was looking so good for Heroic. They were leading 8-4, I believe, and now all of a sudden Virtus.pro decided, nope, we're going to take 7 rounds in a row. Here we are.
Smoke extinguishes flames. S-Tag. Stalin and Borup will slide up the underpass position with Deagles in hand.
It's been a slow-paced game so far. Both teams are opting to go slow on the T side. This round it makes sense though. Heroic, they have the utility to set up for what could be an A execute.
I mean, the good news is, after this nonsense of a map, we get Vertigo.
Yeah, yeah.
It was all sarcasm, that sentence.
I know.
I know you know, but I don't always trust the entire audience.
No?
The majority I do, but there's a few every now and then. Kickers is one of them this round. He's got Borup, his second kill before falling finally to S-Tag. That's going to give the CTs a fantastic opportunity to shut this down entirely without even the presence of a bomb plant, because just 2 remaining. Make that 1. S-Tag, he's found as well. 2 more kills for Sanji, 1 for James to close it out, and 12-8 for Virtus.pro. So they've certainly taken things back into control. Remember, they went up 4-0 and then down 8-4. So to be ahead 12-8, very streaky game.
Super streaky game. Super weird game, I feel. It feels like this is the first game of 2020 for both these teams, which isn't the case. They're both in Leipzig at DreamHack Open, but
Leipzig.
One of them did well, one of them did poorly. Affected by the scoreline, you'd think that Heroic was the one team who didn't do so well, but that wasn't the case. Virtus.pro didn't win a single map throughout that tournament, but as you said, it's starting to look good now. They're finding some footing, they're finding some confidence. Buster pushing out Catwalk by himself towards short, killing Borup, and once again, they find themselves in a comfortable position. Heroic haven't been able to change up the pace either. Trying to default their way out of the problems right now. It's a nice little boost right if Arcadian doesn't have the patience to wait for it. Probably wouldn't have seen anyone anyway, so great call, but they are not really finding any peaks. And I say that and Snappy finds Kickert. So there we go, 4 versus 4. It's been tied up now. Still a team that is spread out. It could still be towards B.
Oh no. I thought Buster was done for because we switched to his angle and he was looking toward the short pipe. They didn't even check it. He would have been so surprised when he turns around mid-jump and sees them in front of him and makes no noise, lands, and kills them both. That's far too easy. Buster will at least get S-Tag back, but Snappy's in a 1-on-3. Bomb in his hands, 84 HP to work with, spotted by a Dren. Another great round by Virtus.pro, and it's 13-8.
What do you do if you're Heroic?
This is their map choice.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just... I mean, to be fair, the replay made that look more appropriate.
Sure.
He was already looking at them. They're both there. When we switched to his camera perspective, he was staring out the short pipe, and they were far enough out the door to look. They just didn't check it.
They didn't?
At that point in the round, you kind of have to. You don't have any information, so the lack of knowledge is as important as knowledge itself. You've got to play accordingly.
It's very true. Heroic investing a lot into this round. Mac 10s, 2 of those. CCs, Deagles, a lot of utility. To me, this smells like a connection push or a B rush or something along those lines. And as I've been saying throughout this entire game, both of them have had horrible, horrible T-sides. Change up the pace, do something fast. Yeah. Try to rattle out the defense somehow, because you can't just run a default every single round while losing it.
James starting to get a little more pace to his game and getting aggressive out toward the A site. That's going to give a lot more confidence to his teammates. You can certainly see that because they've set up with 4 players already inside of the B site. And if they were expecting a fast play from Heroic, given that their economy is not the greatest, it hasn't happened yet. So impatience might lead to impermanence in the rounds. Buster, never mind. He's got Borup down. Good flash by his teammate to get him in position. I'm careful to say the term team flash, because typically I think of your teammate blinding you when you say that, but yeah, great team flash to get him in position to get that kill. Dren makes no mistake to find one inside of the smoke. Has to be a little bit careful as he's depleted all of his ammo, but what he has done is baited in Buster from behind. Snappy's further back still. He's the only one left. Bomb down. I think this round is already over as well. Doesn't even go for the bomb. Not sure if he's realized that, because he ran over that direction. I thought for sure he was trying to pick it up, but it's left on the ground.
At this point, he has to go for it, though. Otherwise, he'll go down 14-8 with the rest of his team.
I think he was told that. He didn't get that because he had to go back for it and still wanted to go back to spawn. But Sanji's got the kill on that second attempt.
Not having it. Just not having it. 14-8. That's 10 rounds in a row from Virtus.pro. They started out by winning 4 rounds. Then they lost 8 rounds in a row. And now they won 10 in a row to make that 14. Whereas for Heroic, haven't been able to do anything at all on the T side whatsoever. It's been even more lackluster than what we saw from Virtus.pro, I feel. Which was very lackluster, so in itself, super impressive. As you said, James starting to find some more confidence, being a bit more aggressive. We don't usually know him to be the aggressive AWPer. Likes to play defensively, but he's starting to feel the game. It's good to see.
Buster. Another step further, his feet would have been spotted by Cadian. In fact, they might have been. We're seeing his perspective, his eyes. Cadian might be fully aware. It suggests that he is. Yeah, flashing. Cadian saw him, no question. They'll check it this time. Buster goes down. Adren waits to the gap. In pit. Wants the information for when they cross, but Sanji now covers that position instead, so Adren's going to go hunting. He'll find one already. Bomb's made it further forward, though, so Stowen will get that down for his team. They're only down by 1 man, and with the bomb planted, already 10 seconds into its duration, their chances are still reasonable. James going to get Cadian. That's going to take it away slightly. Stowen gone on the ramp. The retake so far is stunning, but Borup stands in their way, and he catches out the first onto Adren. He's not done there because they're going to continue to pursue him 1 by 1, but James instead hits the shots. Diffuser to the bomb. 15 rounds for Virtus.pro.
There we have it. 7 match points going the way of Virtus.pro. Somehow feels a little bit silly to think about that we 15 minutes ago said that Heroic is most likely going to win this map, and they're looking super solid.
You know, I didn't say that, actually.
I said that,
you
but
did.
I just tried to drag you into it.
I'm not going to allow you.
We are a pair. We are doing this together.
I see you in the quicksand.
We are a team.
And I do not have the knowledge to save you, but I will not let you drag me down.
Okay. It's all starting to make sense now. Buster getting a kill on towards Borup, and at this point, it's pretty much game over, isn't it? It's hard to believe that they can make this comeback. There we go, Cadian with a refrag towards Kickert, but...
Remarkably, in this half, the last round was the first bomb plant for Heroic.
Yeah, it was the same for Virtus.pro. They went 8 rounds with only 1 bomb plant.
I just want to note as well, in the OG game, I don't know that we mentioned it, the wig that NBK was wearing was actually for charity.
Yeah.
Which he did on his stream, apparently. So good for him. I didn't know that. I think a few people who messaged me that. So
super nice, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Either way, Stowen is going to try desperately to get this bomb back and keep this game alive. Vertigo seems very likely in the near future, I should say, rather than the distant. It's inevitable either way.
Good thing is Heroic is a strong Vertigo team, but there must be a reason Virtus.pro have picked it for sure. Let's not forget to mention that this was the map pick of Heroic, and they are about to lose it. Cadian and Stowen are the only 2 players standing in the way for Virtus.pro to get a somewhat surprising map victory here. First map of the series. James sitting in his favorite position, just waiting for somebody to walk into his crosshair. One of the strongest AWPers in the world in that aspect of AWPing. Most likely not going to happen. Cadian finding the first frag here, putting on some pressure on towards Sanji, and there we go. James connecting. We set it up for him beautifully. Stowen, 4 seconds left. He has to plant the bomb, and that is it. James takes him down with a wall bang, and that will be Virtus.pro.
Have you unplugged your microphone?
That will be Virtus.pro winning.
How did you do that?
That was impressive, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't even see wow, okay. Either way, it is going to be Virtus.pro winning in a convincing fashion, despite that they lost 8 rounds in this game. They lost them all in a row. That's
it's
not like those 8 rounds snuck in there. They got beaten, battered for 8 rounds and actually conceded the lead at that point. So, yeah, very weird game, but Virtus.pro, good to see them close out on a big lead. That's usually when they struggle. They get ahead sort of to 13, 14 rounds, and all of a sudden things start tripping and falling, and they don't make it to the finish line. So that's something to look up to. Certainly better than Summit.
Certainly better than Summit. Certainly better than we saw in Leipzig. It was a very disappointing showing by Heroic. Those 8 rounds they won in a row as well. I think there was only 5 kills gained by Virtus.pro in those 8 rounds, or 6 kills or something like that. So that was incredible that the game could just turn around just like that. That being said, though, I believe we're jumping onto a short commercial, and after that, you'll see an interview with Adrian himself.